Okay, really exciting day. I'm finally taking the tarps off and gonna try to start replacing some core. I'm not sure how far I'll get or how long it's gonna take to do what I want, so I'm gonna see what I can do.
You're in your own world. You're out of your mind. There's no use pretending this thing isn't real. The anger, frustration, the pain that you feel is slipping to your own world. You leave this world far behind.
Alright guys, it's day 3 I think of replacing the Balsa core. Yesterday was like 100 degrees, so I had to take a lot of breaks and try to keep all my sweat from dripping into the balsa. So that was pretty rough, but So I didn't get too much done yesterday on top of the deck. I went down below and did a few things. One of the issues I ran into was it was so hot that the epoxy was just gelling up real fast, and it wasn't working really well. It didn't give me enough time to get the core in there. Luckily I was able to scrape out what I had started on, and I just had to put it off and wait, which can be real hard sometimes when I wanted to get it done, but I stopped. And so I came today really early before it gets too hot. I'll show you what I've done. So here's the first panel I started on today. I had that weighted. Got the weights off now and moved them down the line to the next spot. All along here. Oh, so I had a little emergency there. I was switched to the plywood core and was laying that down, and it wasn't laying flat, or rather flat to the curve of the deck, flush with it. So I mean, I cut all the grooves in it. Maybe I didn't cut them deep enough because it just didn't want to bend very easily. So I had to sprint to the garage and grab more cans of resin, and now the mountain on top there seems to be holding it flush. Everywhere I can see it looks alright, so we're just gonna let that sit. I'm not gonna walk around on the boat too much because every time I do, the whole thing shakes and looks like it's about to tip over. Okay, it's getting pretty hot, so I might try to get a little more done, but I've got the balsa all laminated in, and I went around and sanded to make it nice and flush with the old balsa where there was little bumps and deviations. So here it is. I still have the back section to do, but I'm waiting till I can move that tarp cover. So I'll do that next time. It's supposed to rain, so next dry spell I'll do the back. Rest of the balsa is all set, ready for the fiberglass plates to go back on top. Hey guys, doing some more core replacement. It was a really hot day, so I waited till the evening here, and it's a lot nicer, much cooler. Since I'll be sitting up here on the deck, it can get pretty hot. There's my view. So, wanted to talk a little bit about the core I'm doing here. So what I mostly try to do is cut everything up in even sections, as in squares and rectangles. I really try to avoid doing angles. It just makes cutting it easier. I also try to leave as much of the good core as possible, and anything that's slightly wet, I just let it air dry. And a few spots here were really wet, but they're all nice and dried out now. Going back to what I tried with the holes, drilling the holes to dry it out. You can see these are where I drilled the holes in to let it dry, and this was somewhere around here, and as you can see I'm replacing there, so it obviously didn't work. It may have worked better if the boat was indoors, possibly, but I guess just being outside it just gets too humid, and there wasn't enough airflow under the tarps, and of course the tarps leaked. So in hindsight, I probably would have just cut up the wet spots, and like I did now, and just revealing the whole top of the balsa, because it's end grain, which means the grain is going up and down. So side to side there's not a lot of movement, but if you expose the top, all the pores are at the top, so it'll dry in an hour or so. If it's warm enough. 24 hours, absolutely. What I'm doing here is, sometimes it's just easier, rather than cutting with this little piece sticking out, I'm just going to chisel this out just to make my life easier putting the new core in. Some places I measure around it, but don't feel like doing that right now. If you didn't see that, this just popped up and hit my eyeball, so that's a good reason to wear safety glasses. Nice chisel, it's good to have two. As you'll see with the balsa, I use a hammer for the long pieces, but when I'm going down on it to get out corners, it's real easy. I don't even need a hammer. Let's show you close in here. And this is just by hand. And this stuff is real easy to manipulate. There we go. Perfect. All done. Well, for there anyway. Still have to do this last portion and then onto the side decks. This is actually going to be, and I'm just following what the original builders did, and this was all marine plywood. And I assume it's that because that's where they mounted some winches. And then just to show you what I've done up here, all the panels, I put a bevel in between where they met, and those got the resin and the fiberglass strips to give it the strength back. And then just working my way back from there. Okay, I just wanted to talk a little more about the core that I was replacing. Get you a better look at that. It's 3/8 inch balsa. I've really liked the material. It's really easy to work with. I've said that before, but it's great. Just a little bit in case you don't know how the core is constructed. The deck of the boat is sandwiched, so yes, so there's fiberglass on top, fiberglass on bottom. The fiberglass layers are actually really thin, maybe like 1/8 of an inch or less. So most of the thickness comes from the balsa on the deck. The balsa comes in 2 foot by 4 foot sections normally. Most places do that pretty standard. It's real easy to put on the deck and conform with any curves because it's got the back has like a fabric on it, so it flexes and it'll lay on there real easy. Easier than plywood.
It also rolls this way, in case you were wondering.
So I get all the fiberglass supplies from a site called Fiberglass. Since I first started experimenting with fiberglass, I always have used them. I think when I did one of my first orders, I did something silly like ordering polyester resin with like an epoxy hardener, and you don't know what that means?
I really have no idea what that means.
That's why you're not the fiberglasser.
Nope. I know that surfboards are made of fiberglass because my surfboard's fiberglass and I love it. So I know that much. But he's not building me a surfboard. He is building me a sailboat. So I guess that's okay.
They called me and like told me that doesn't mix, and they told me what I needed, and that was really awesome. And even recently I ordered like a couple of things of fabric, and they told me that there was a larger roll for cheaper. So I've had nothing but awesome experiences with fiberglass, and I'll keep using them. And they actually sell the balsa too at a pretty good price, so I ordered this along with the resin.
We're loyal customers.
I was thinking I'd be done with all the core in a couple weeks. Still not done with the core, so it's about 3 weeks later. Biggest issues, the biggest hurdles are weather, mostly because the boat's outside, so one rainy weekend really can throw off my schedule. And of course I have to do the tarps, and I hate the tarps.
Of course, his outside location is free, so he's going to deal with the tarps and the weather.
Yes, I work around it. Overall, though, I just have to say a big part of our project has been sort of planning and organizing out what we're doing, because with so much that has to be done, it's really crucial to plan what you want, because you don't want to have to do something and then realize it interferes with something else, or you have to do it in a certain order. For example, we can't do the floor of the boat until we do the tow rails, because there's a bunch of holes there, and I really don't want to do the tow rails until the core is done, because that's one less thing to be in the way. Organization really helps keep you focused on projects so you don't get sidetracked, and makes your life a whole lot easier.
He says he doesn't get sidetracked. I see all of his checklists. In general, he's not sidetracked. However, if you see him go for the boat, he can't remember his keys. So I consider that partially sidetracked.
Because I'm thinking of stuff to do.
That's why you have a to-do list.
Yeah, but I don't always look at it.
No, I'm starting to make some like vision boards and stuff so that we kind of have a general idea of what we're going to be doing once we can get to the interior.
Another critical part in the learning process for me is lots of books, lots of online videos, but definitely this book. This Old Boat by
Don Casey.
Tons of good information. I've read through it like twice. Got bookmarks in all the sections.
I like it because it reminds me of This Old House, which was Bob Vila's old show back in the day. He's eager to have the balsa finished, because once he gets the core done and he gets the fiberglass back on, he can then put the tow rails on, which then means that there's no more tarps. And that's really, really what he wants.
Yes.
He thinks that without tarps, the world will be a great place. So that's what we have to look forward to in the next couple of weeks, is for him to finish. And he's very driven, again, because he doesn't want these tarps anymore. So hopefully we've got some sunny, dry weather. He can finish it up. We can pull the tarps off. I'll help him put the tow rails on, because I helped take them off, so I think I can help put them back on.
Yep.
And then we will be set to go. And then we can start, well, he can start doing some flooring and I can start sanding so we can get ready to paint. So we have that to look forward to. Hopefully in July, because, you know, I do go back to school at the end of August, so I'm hoping to get some work done in July.
And then we just have to build the whole inside.
Yep, that too. Still on track.